Hey guys, it's Nigel. Welcome back to my channel. I was chatting with a friend of mine yesterday and I had this super profound download. Well, this is actually something he said, but I wanted to share it with you guys because I feel like it was pretty profound. Okay, so it's funny because we were chatting about, I forget how we ended up on this conversation, but um, he and I were talking about how, um, you know, basically like the end times and all the projections about the end times and how there are so many divergent timelines that we have now opened ourselves up to pertaining to the end times. And specifically, I was telling him about how when I was younger, my mom had this VCR tape and it was called A Distant Thunder, and it was essentially about how in the end times they were going to make people take the mark of the beast, and if you didn't take the mark of the beast, you would get your head chopped off, right? And he was essentially saying the same thing, that ever since he was a child, he had been prepped and groomed in the Christian community, or a lot of us come from the Christian household, where there was always talk about the end times, always talk about the rapture, always talk about the mark of the beast and accepting the mark. So if you think about it, I don't know about other generations, but our generation specifically has been heavily groomed or prepped. If you came from a Christian household, Jehovah's Witness, Mormon, whatever the case may be, there has always been a fascination with the end times, right? Like, it's never about living your current life to the fullest. It's always about the end times. Prepare for the end times. Jesus is coming back in the end times, right? So it kind of always kept followers or believers kind of on the edge of their seat, right? Like, you must live divinely because Jesus is coming, right? And so this is kind of the conditioning or programming a lot of us have come from and are waking up from. Um, and so basically he was saying that um, he believed, like, because of the teaching and programming he grew up with, he said, um, basically, like, well, what are you going to do in the end times? Are you going to accept the mark on your hand and on your forehead, or are you going to get your head chopped off? And I was saying to him, I said, well, I understand that that is a timeline, and a lot of people, you know, we are moving into that timeline only because so many people are consciously aware of that timeline. But I said to him, I said, but we do still get to choose, because to me that seems like the lower timeline, and I am under the perception that we are here on earth to experience heaven on earth, contrary to the teachings that we have been taught. I, in my heart, feel like we have been promised heaven on earth, or we have been promised the land of milk and honey. We have been promised living in utopia, living beautifully, again, living in heaven on earth. This is something that I believe we have been promised, even through the teaching of Jesus. Even though I'm not a Christian, but again, did grow up through the Christian faith, I feel like Jesus in his time was a mystic, and he was teaching everybody that the kingdom of heaven is within. And this is the download that I got when I was chatting with my friend. I said, we don't have to choose that timeline. And essentially, and this is something he said, if everybody on an individual level chooses heaven on earth, that timeline does not have to be our reality, okay? And so there's this big emphasis on choosing heaven on earth on a personal level, right? Because so often in our society, we are always waiting for the government to fix it, politicians to fix it, someone outside of us to fix it, fix it, fix it. And my guides are saying no one outside of you is going to fix anything. And in fact, you are living your own personal reality. No one's reality is going to look and feel how your personal reality looks and feels, okay? So we are having an individual experience, though we are all connected collectively. Really, there is no way for you to step into someone else's shoes and experience reality as them. You can only experience life as yourself. So if you think about it, you are the most powerful creator in your reality, because you can only feel what you have created and what you are a part of. So the big aha was that everyone has to choose heaven on earth on an individual level, okay? So when we talk about how do we, and again, how Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is within, he understood there is a way to reach a state of enlightenment, so much so that you feel like you are in a bliss state in your human experience. You feel like you are, again, on heaven on earth. The kingdom of heaven is within, meaning that you are creating and projecting heaven on earth through your vessel, through your perception, through how you feel, through your outlook on life, right? Like, are you choosing to view things optimistically and hopefully, or are you choosing to view things from a condemned point of view, right? So we get to choose. And even so, with what is going on in our society right now, the chaos that is transpiring in our society right now, you still get a choice what you choose to engage and interact with. I will give you an example. So something that I do, for work, because I do lots of things. I'm a content creator. I make YouTube videos, but also on the side, I do what's called brand ambassador work, which is essentially just like filling in for marketing companies. I'll go to events and festivals and promote companies, right? So, so there was this event that I was supposed to work, and it turns out they were requiring either you be vaccinated and show proof of vaccination with your vaccine passport, essentially, if you want to work the event. And if you are not vaccinated but you still want to work the event, they require a, and it's so funny, as I'm saying this, I'm getting phantom pains in my arm. I don't know if anyone else has been feeling this phantom pains of like receiving the jab, even though I haven't been vaccinated and I have no intentions of being vaccinated, but phantom pains. It's like it's as if so many people in the collective have chosen the path of getting vaxxed. Therefore, the sensation of it, and also just viewing it on TV. It's on when I'm in the gym, it's on the TV showing people getting vaccinated. It's everywhere, right? It's on YouTube, it's everywhere. So everyone has essentially seen or witnessed someone being vaxxed since this entire thing has been unfolding. And so, said all that to say, sometimes I'll receive the sensation of phantom pains in the top of my arm, and it was really bad one day. But I believe because I'm an empath, I can pick up and feel the sensation of what people are feeling physically in their bodies just by viewing. Anyway, so like I said, I was scheduled to work this event, and they were requiring you to be vaccinated or have proof of vaccination, or to receive a negative COVID test in the first 48 hours before the event started. And I was like, okay, well, obviously I'm not vaccinated, don't have proof of, a vax passport or anything like that. And so, and I was not going to do a COVID test because I've seen like TikTok videos and stuff like that of them breaking down what is in the COVID test, and the follicles and particles going up in your nose and just a bunch of random stuff. So I chose that I was not going to participate in any of that. And even like on a smaller level, like sometimes you go to the supermarket and some supermarkets require you to wear masks, or some stores require you to wear masks. Well, you can say, you know what, in my heaven on earth, we don't participate in that behavior. Therefore, I will not be using that store. Therefore, I will not be working at that event. Therefore, I will not be going to that school. Therefore, I will not be working at that job anymore. Like you fill in the blank. But on a personal level, you get to decide what you will interact with. So if you don't feel bad about having to wear a mask, you can still experience your version of heaven on earth while participating in that. If you don't believe that getting the vax is going to be harmful and detrimental to your body, right? You can still experience heaven on earth and do that, right? So it's all about our perception. Although I believe there is something funny and wonky with this vax, and while they're trying to put whatever substance is in it into everybody, that is neither here nor there. But I was watching some spiritual teacher, and they're essentially saying that your belief is king. So if you believe that you get vaxxed and then something terrible is going to happen to you because you're introducing poison into your body, that is you lowering your vibration to that timeline, therefore manifesting that experience. If you're a high vibrational individual and you believe that getting the vax is not going to harm your physical vessel in any way, your consciousness is king, okay? Whatever you believe is king. So again, those of us who believe, you know, getting the vax is poisonous, what we believe is king. So yeah, to us, putting that in our body would be poison. But in the same breath, to somebody who does not believe that it is poison and that they're doing what is best for their body, they might